In the metals quadrant, taking a look at a two-day bounce in the June gold futures contract. Gold was up for two straight sessions, but only for a small gain of just short of 0.5%, 47 basis points, while gold finished down 2.6% for its first down week in the last 5 and only the third down week in the last 9. It did recover off the weekly lows by a solid 1.95%. So there was some serious recovery this week. This was one of the lowest volume weeks we've had in a long time for gold, and the trend is still impressive considering that since the lows in October of 2022, gold is up about 45.2%, so a pretty strong uptrend that is still intact based on this week's price action. The high today, 2364.40, that was up a little bit more than 0.9%. The low, 2338.10, that was only down about 0.2%, but we pulled back, finished the day up about 0.25%. We do have an FOMC meeting here in the US next week, and that meeting will affect gold prices. Not the decision, which is at about a 97% probability of no move at all, and that CME Fed Watch tool is pretty good as we get close to this close to a Fed meeting at predicting what's going to happen. But obviously, the statement and the press conference afterward talking about the direction of short-term rates, which again is really the only thing that the Fed is actually able to affect, and we suspect that they're going to make statements that will affect the price of gold. Also, rates on the yield curve, meaning the treasuries that the Fed doesn't necessarily affect directly, they were up again this week, but not dramatically. But regardless, this was the third consecutive week of rising interest rates in terms of treasury yields, and the dollar follows, being up 5 of the last 7 weeks. So that should be a headwind for gold, but hasn't really been the way gold is kind of hanging in there. This week we only had yields up basically between 7 basis points on the 30-year and 2 basis points on the 2-year.